So we really exploded to the upside. Absolutely across all three. As a matter of fact, there's been disconnects, and today's another one of these examples of just craziness, but there's been disconnects, and yesterday was not one of those. As a matter of fact, we had a big sharp turn to the upside. We look over at the Dow, finished up 425 points. That was up significantly. You had the NASDAQ up 130 points, and that was kind of all over the map yesterday as well. And the S&P up 44. By the way, Dow, another new all-time high yesterday. So you know what? These records almost seem to be something that gets broken on a daily basis, and the movements that we have seen have been absolutely extraordinary. So volatility yesterday, we had volatility as high as 25. We actually finished the day a lot closer to the 21. And it's just been amazing. 44 million contracts, and I can't emphasize this enough for everybody. When you look at the derivatives markets, you see the growth that we've got, and you see all the strength that we are seeing, and a lot of what we are seeing on the unusual side of things, the foreshadowing of what's coming. It really is an amazing thing right now, and you've got to have the knowledge. Knowledge is king. We talk about that all the time. You've got to get educated, whether that's with books or going online or doing whatever process you need to do. You've got to have the education, because quite frankly, it actually reduces some of the risk if you know what you're doing. So it really is important. I emphasize that because we talk about unusual option activity all the time. That's what we do. John and I both stood on the trading floors for an awfully long time. John was there from 1981 all the way through about 1992. I was on the trading floors after football from 92 all the way until the early 2000s when we sold it. And then we moved upstairs and started this whole business. And it's been nothing but great. And we basically took everything we learned from on the floor and some of the indicators that we learned from that and created our own algorithms, and that's what we do now. And it's fun. It's every single day. It's worth waking up for, because you never know what's going to be in front of you, but you know it's going to be crazy. So yesterday, speaking of crazy, energy was up again. It was up nearly 4% yesterday. Another really strong performance. The big boys really just putting it on. I'm talking about Chevron and Exxon absolutely exploding to the upside. Add all those beta names as well. The beta names have been absolutely on fire. I look at Occidental, Marathon, Halliburton, EOG, SLB, all of these names. You're up anywhere from 6 to 10% yesterday. So when I say beta, we're talking about names that are absolutely exploding to the upside. And that same thing can be true to the downside. Lately, it's been far more to the upside as the price of crude has jumped over 60, held over 60, got up and over 63, 63.40 I think yesterday. Today it's getting a little bit of a pullback, but we started off pretty nice with some of those energy names. The last thing I want to hit on was we had some strength from Tesla, which was a name that absolutely was all over the map the day before, but we had some strength from Tesla and the semiconductors, a nice bounce yesterday. And that was really something. Tesla was up about 6%. The semiconductors were up about 3%. That's a very big move and a recovery move that we'd seen there. We also had the reopen trade. It was the cruise ships. It was the airlines. It was the hotels having a pretty nice day yesterday. So into today. We're down early. We have that interesting disconnect. We had the Dow was up about 30 in the pre-market. The NASDAQ was down about 100 points. Then we shifted around a little bit of back and forth. Suddenly the NASDAQ had this big jump to the upside, and before you know it, last I looked, we were actually moving down almost in pairs, except for when you consider percentage-wise. The Dow was down about 100 points last I looked, and the NASDAQ was down a little over 100 points. S&P was down about 23 points. So we saw a big sort of a flip that just sort of occurred in the first half hour, 45 minutes. And that's where we stand now. So we have some leadership early. It was financials once again. Take a look at that 10-year. The 10-year have absolutely been exploding to the upside. And this has been going on for a while. And anybody who's been following the market rebellion, they know energy started really kicking for us back in November. Financial started kicking for us back in November. So this is not a, oh boy, it suddenly happened and everybody's jumping in. This has been building and building and building. And all you've got to do is go back. We were talking about this yesterday with AJ Monty. We were doing a webinar right after the close. We were talking about the incredible movement that we have had, but it didn't just start. This has been something that has been persisting for quite a while. And you go back to November 5th or thereabouts and you'll find all kinds of incredible option activity that we were discussing back then, and they were going out in time and buying some time, some of it short term, but most of it even in the longer term, and that's been something that's really been impressive for us. Now, next, let's hit the unusual option activity that we're seeing today. So I mentioned the financials. Well, NYCB, New York Community Bank. We don't talk about this name very often, a little smaller regional bank, but stock was trading about 13. We had a decent sized buyer early on, 5,100 of the April 13 call. So they didn't go to March. They bought a little extra time. These are only going for 60 to 90 cents. So they very much have a risk reward potential there that could be something very, very interesting. Like seeing this one because it's playing along with everything we've been seeing in the financials for a while now. So that one stood out. And then just before I came on, Bristol-Myers hit. And Bristol-Myers is a name that it comes in once in a while, but we do see a lot of the other pharmaceutical names far more frequently. But Bristol-Myers trading right around 63. We had a buyer of 4,000 of the March 64 calls, so just out of the money calls, going for about $1.25. So that did stand out. I got one other one in the esports world, but the market cap is so small that I don't want to discuss that one right now. But I will tell you this, the activity already started to really accelerate as we get into the day. And let me just take one last check. Dow down about 160 points, NASDAQ down about 150 points. So that's where we stand right now. And the S&P down about 32 points. Have fun today. Enjoy what you're doing. You've got to have the knowledge. Please make sure that you do, because you'll have frustration if you don't. But in any case, always have discipline. We talk about that all the time here at Market Rebellion. We think it's very, very important. And once you make some of those decisions, it's okay where the stocks go after that. You've got to have that discipline, though, as you're attacking the markets each and every day. Have a great day of trading. We'll see you